Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, a couple sad stories in the news today. We have an overboard situation. We have a passenger passing away in their cabin, and I'll tell you the reason I want to cover that story, because I get a lot of complaints about people who say that the cruise lines are doing this wrong and I don't want them to do this, and this is one of the reasons they do it. Also, Norwegian's under fire again because of those changes I announced. That they announced they're changing all these itineraries to two of their cruise ships, and people are not happy at all, and they are really letting them have it on social media. So our first story takes place about 188 miles off the coast of Portugal, where a Norwegian cruise ship is doing its transatlantic journey. Unfortunately, a passenger has gone overboard, and the ship spent over 10 hours basically circling in the area looking for this passenger. The waters were fairly warm, not freezing yet, but fairly warm, so there was hope for survival. And they were, the Portuguese Coast Guard was there, search and rescue, etc. Other ships were in the area, but to no avail. And unfortunately, the passenger was not found. There is no details on how they went overboard, why they went overboard, or even who they were, because for the protection and the confidentiality of the family and friends involved, they haven't announced the names of the passenger yet. But yeah, they spent a long time, 10 hours searching for a overboard passenger. They really had some hopes of finding this person. Normally, if you're in an area, say, where it's very, very cold water or rough seas, that search and rescue does not last anywhere near that length of time. The Coast Guard will stay, but usually the cruise ships are set free to continue their journey. So they did their best, and unfortunately, in this case, it just wasn't quite enough. Next, let's talk about a passenger who, a British lady, 61 years old, was found in her cabin unresponsive. And the medical team was called immediately. They tried performing CPR. They tried, to shock her, to no avail. They weren't able to revive her, and she was pronounced passed away on the cruise ship. Now, one of the reasons people, unfortunately, it's absolutely true, unfortunately, pass away all the time on cruise ships. The reason this is the story I want to bring up is because I hear a lot of complaints sometimes when people will, for instance, just decide they want to be on their own. They don't really, they just want to enjoy. They're on sea days at like a transatlantic. They just want to spend some time in their cabin, relax, read a book, spend some time. They put the do not disturb sign out on, the door. Well, after 24 hours, 30 hours or so, they'll get a knock at the door, and it's usually one of two people. It's usually your cabin steward or perhaps a security officer on board. And people get very annoyed saying, I put a do not disturb sign on there yesterday. Don't disturb me. It's my cruise. I'm doing what I'm doing. This is one of the reasons that they do that. It's not because they want to disturb you. In fact, the less cleaning they have to do in the stateroom, the happier they are, right? If you don't want cleaning in your stateroom, that's one less cabin that steward has to work. But they're doing a wellness check. They're doing a check to make sure you're okay. And here's a perfect example of a case where somebody wasn't okay. Had there been no wellness check and the do not disturb sign was up on the cabin for 4 or 5 days, that person would have been there that long. And so this is one of those examples of why they do it. If they would have come in and this might have just happened, there might have been a chance of resuscitating this person and bringing them back. And that's one of the biggest reasons they do this. So if you ever have a do not disturb sign on your door and it's been a day or so and they knock on the door, please don't get angry with them. think of it as this is a precaution to hopefully save somebody's life in the future. And that's why they do this. And that's why I decided to add this into the story today. Next, let's talk about all those changes that Royal Caribbean recently did to a couple of their cruise ships again, and passengers are outraged. They are just saying now that Norwegian Cruise Line has become the most unreliable cruise line as far as keeping your itinerary and keeping the cruise that you booked. They change it so often that you never know what it's going to be when you book the cruise. They're saying that no other cruise line makes changes as much as Norwegian Cruise Line does. I report Norwegian changing the itineraries more than most cruise lines. I will admit that. Sometimes it's for the better. Sometimes people feel it's for the worse. But the comments are coming out are saying, for instance, that this is no longer just a change of an itinerary. It's a completely different cruise than what you book. And that's one of the problems. Coming out with these changes after final payments made, so no one can make changes to it. That's also a big decision. Why are they waiting until after final payments are done to announce this? Is it so people can't get their money back and can't make changes? And so again, they're calling it shady. They're calling it unreliable. And they are starting to get very angry, loyal Norwegian passengers with a lot of the changes, the new dining changes, the new private island they're building, that now the drink package isn't going to be included on shore, to the extra charge for the next for room service, for the slimmed down menu, what you're able to order, the changing itineraries all the time. And it's hard to plan your vacations. You know, I can't wait to go to Jamaica, and I can't wait to go to Nassau. It's going to be a great. Oh, wait a minute. We're not going there now. Now we're going over to Puerto Rico, and now we're. You see what I'm saying? People are saying that they can no longer trust what they're booking is what they're going to get. It's been so many changes and so often, and quite literally, like since 2023 till now, it's become a huge amount. It used to be a few ships here and there once in a while would be changing, but like nothing like we've seen in the past 2 years with the amount of ships and itinerary changes that Norwegian's done. And I mean complete itinerary changes, not because of weather, not because of anything else. And they say it's to enhance the Caribbean experience for our guests and to make good commitments to our travel partners and different locations, etc. That doesn't really matter if you're a guest and wanted to go to this port and wanted to go to this port, and then they just changed it, and now you have no recourse to cancel because it's past final payment due, and you have huge, huge penalties for doing so. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Is too much is too much? Are they doing this too often now? Or are you saying, hey, they're just rearranging their fleet? They need to put different ships in different areas. Happens all the time. It just happens to be happening a lot with Norwegian right now. Let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, I hope you liked this video. You did? Please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.